Now, with this $200 billion a year, what are we going to be doing with it? That $35 billion that we're going to be investing into our economy, what's going to be happening with it, and what's we're going to be doing with it without touching the rest? That's for our future generations. So how are you going to benefit from this? What is the next Bahamas is going to look like, and how are we going to take these funds to make the next Bahamas? This is the most important part. The first thing we're going to do in the new Bahamas is we're going to remove all personal taxes. All personal taxes will be removed, just as is done in all of these countries that we have mentioned, in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, etc. They have no personal taxes. Why do you need to tax the people if you have the money? And so there's no personal taxes. Why? Because we've covered our $2.5 million in our $35 billion budget. All right, it's covered, so there's no reason to charge us taxes. So other countries have done it, so we're not reinventing the wheel. This is doable, okay? There will be no personal custom duties. So you as a person will not pay customs duties anymore, all right? And there will be no property taxes for you as a person, no property taxes. So no taxes whatsoever for any individual. Only businesses will be taxed. So taxes are a thing of the past for you. All right. The next thing that we're going to do with this budget is free national health care. Free national health care. And so we wanted to figure out what was the numbers that we need to cover free national health care. So Perry Gomez, the previous Minister of Health, had said that it would cost $235 million to get national health insurance. Domain Science said it would cost more like $750 million. And CFAL said that they think that it would cost about $700 million in order to get free national health care. All right, we're going with CFAL's number. We believe that. And so we have budgeted $700 million. And with that alone, you will be able to cover every single Bahamian for every single situation that they may be in. If Grammy needs a heart transplant, if someone has cancer and they can't afford, they will be able to afford it because we will cover it now. The state covers all your health care, and this is happening right now in countries like Qatar, Dubai, etc. You don't have cookouts, you don't have these things. It's covered. So every single Bahamian with a passport will be covered. All right. And so we're going to move on to electricity. And so free electricity. There will be no charge for electricity anymore. All of these countries that I mentioned to you again, they did the same thing. They, from their income, the Sovereign Wealth Fund, they're able to cover free electricity. So how are we able to do it in the Bahamas? We're showing you numbers now. So we gave you the $700 million for health. And so now for free electricity, here is what it is. So for right now, our electricity cost, BEC's cost or BPL's cost is $480 million per year. According to them, they said $40 million a month. All right, which 30 million of it is actually goes to fuel. Wow, we're going to eliminate that. But $480 million per year is what they spend. So we took $500 million and put it in the budget just to cover all of BC's expenses. But we're going to find a way to wipe that out so it isn't so expensive. I spoke to the person in the United States who actually did an assessment of our entire power grid for BEC, which is called at the time, in order to determine what needs to be done to fix their problems. One of the problems that they were told that they have is that there's a lot of wastage. About 50% of the energy is lost on the way to your house through these lines, through these poor power lines and through other means. We're going to revamp that, and we're going to put it underground also. And so we're going to revamp the whole thing and put it underground. All right, and so it's vision. This can be done. All right, we are going to solarize the entire system. We are going to add solar fields to the entire system. And how are we going to pay for this? How are we going to afford it? We won't touch that $200 billion to do it. We are going to get our entire electricity system solarized, because we are small, solarized for free. Absolutely free. We won't pay $1 because it's going to be paid for through carbon credits. That is how it's going to be paid. We're going to show you that in a minute. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss that. We don't have to be paying any electricity bill. Even right now, without going to our natural resource and sovereign wealth fund, that can be done. The fourth thing that you're going to get from our sovereign wealth fund is free internet. You're going to get free internet, Wi-Fi, and data. You're going to get free Wi-Fi and free data. How is that possible? Why would we do that? We budgeted $100 million for that. All right, so $100 million is covered in that budget that we said. All right, the UN has declared that broadband is a human right. In 2011, the UN declared that broadband is a human right. And so we're going to take that to the next level by saying that you have a right to have internet, because we're moving to a new connected society that you're going to hear about in a minute. We're moving to a new connected society. And so you're going to be connected to the internet at all times, either through your Wi-Fi at home or through your device that you're going to be able to carry around, your cell phone, etc. You are going to be completely connected. We budgeted, we could do this for $100 million per year, and that is without starting a new system. That's by paying. We have some options. So one of those options is to pay the existing companies. We're going to let them bid for it. We're going to let them bid and say that we're going to pay a stipend for every single passport carrying Bahamian, and we're going to give them free internet in their homes, and we're going to give them free internet data to their phones. And that's what we're going to pay for, because it's a human right, because we're moving to the new digital Bahamas that you're going to hear about in a minute. And we're going to let them bid for it. The next thing that you will get from this budget that you're able to get is free water. This is already happening in some of these countries that we're talking about. You're going to get free water. You're going to get free water that you could drink from the tap. Remember when y'all who live in Freeport used to drink from the tap? Remember those days? Well, you're going to get free water across this country that you could drink. It's so pure that you could drink from the tap. This is happening in other countries right now. Why not here? The numbers for that is $70 million. $70 million that we budgeted to be able to cover water in our entire system. All right? And so we budgeted that because water and sewage expenses that they released in 2015 was $67 million. So we budgeted $70 million in order to make this happen. Those foreigners that have water contracts, their days are numbered. They're going to be removed from this country. All right, and so that is going to be something that Bahamians, that our system is going to offer, and we should not be buying water to resell to the Bahamian people. And if we're going to do that, that should be drinkable water from the tap, like they do in many countries. You drink bottled water if you want to drink bottled water in some countries. Water is a human right. The sixth thing that we're going to offer in this is free education. Free education. Education is a human right. When my father was growing up, you had to come out of school in grade 6, in 6th grade. All right? In my generation, they took it up to high school. But now you're going to get free education, full free education, up to a doctorate degree. And so you're going to get education from both local and international universities. Wait until you hear this plan. In a minute you're going to hear it when we break it down. Local and international universities are going to have free education from daycare to PhD. There are many single mothers who have hell trying to find someone to keep their child. Trying to find someone to keep their child while they go to work, while they go on a job interview. No, daycare is going to be free from now on. It's going to be free, including night care. Because there are people that work for us. There are essential workers that work for us, and they don't have anyone to keep their children or anyone they trust keep their children. So if they want, the option should be there. Police officers, hotel workers, etc. should have a safe place, a safe homely place to keep their children, and we're going to do it for them. So all of the benefits I just told you could change your life. Imagine you don't have to pay electricity anymore and all these bills that cause you to go broke, and healthcare and that kind of stuff. That's good. But now it's time to put money in your pocket. Like we said, there are sovereign wealth funds that don't give you money, but that's why they have a lot of money in theirs. But why shouldn't we give to our people? There's not millions of us. There's not even a million of us. There's only a certain amount of us, and so that's who we're going to give to. All right? And so here we go. Every single adult will get $100,000 per year. $100,000 per year. And so we showed you that we have a budget for that. And so how do we do that? We are looking at 300,000 passport carrying Bahamians, adults, that we estimate. All right, and we estimate 100,000 children. It starts at the age of 22 and up is when you're going to be getting that. We're going to tell you why. You're going to love this. Trust me, you'll be glad you're getting that at 22. All right, so from the age of 22 and up, we budgeted for 300,000 Bahamians to get $100,000. And so if each of them get $100,000, that's $30 billion. Do you see why our budget is $35 billion? $35 billion is our budget. So now you can see that most of that is just making sure we get our check. All of the other stuff is very doable. We can almost do that now without any of this. We can do this. All right? And so 30 billion of it is going to go to checks that go to our Bahamians. All right? And can we make it? With our aragonite alone, that is nothing to do. I've shown you the numbers. It's time for vision. So you now see that it's possible for every Bahamian to get $100,000 a year. If you challenge me, or anyone challenges me, then do a debate with me and we'll break it down. Every single child is going to receive $1 million at the age of 21. You all hear what I just said? I did not stammer. I'm serious with this. You all pay close attention. We did the numbers. This is doable right now. We can walk into the new Bahamas. Are you ready to walk into the new Bahamas? Because it's doable. We have the natural resources to do it. This is how it's done. When your child is born, we're going to open a bank account for them. What we're going to do is that every year from their born, from year one, we put in $20,000. Every year, we're going to put in $20,000 for them, and it's going to go into like an endowment fund that's going to be traded and get interest. It's going to be traded, and you're going to get interest on the trade. All right? And so if we get gains of 10%, which is what we're aiming for, 10%, by the time as they reach the age of 21 years old, they are going to get $1 million. The majority of that is going to be from the interest of the money that is traded, just like what Norway and these other countries do. Let me tell you break it down for you some more how it works. Let me tell you some rules first. But the interest that they make on it, see, you're struggling to pay interest to the bank on your bank account. Now you're going to be getting interest from your bond. The borrower is slave to the lender, but now we're going to be the ones getting the interest from our bond because of our birthright. And so the rest of it is interest. I'm going to break it down for you in a minute. And so in order to get these funds, it's $1 million. I'll break it down a little bit more in a second. There are some courses you must pass in school. You're not just going to give a 21-year-old $1 million unless they qualify. All right? And so there's going to be some courses that are now going to be offered in school. All right? The courses are as follows. You're going to have to pass a business course in school. We're going to teach business in schools. Why don't they teach business in school? We're going to have to pass a trading course to learn about trading and stocks, etc. And you're going to have to pass a financial management, a money management course in school. I don't understand why don't the teachers, they teach you about all these other things that you may never use in real life. But if you want to be a doctor and you open your office, that's business. If you want to be a lawyer and you open off, that's business. If you want to learn to sew, that's business. If you want to have your sewing business, anything you do, business is the most important thing that you can learn. And so we're going to teach our young people business from there in school. This is a must pass like English and maths. That's what this is. It's an important part of it, and it's a must pass. And so if you want to get this jump start, which is $1 million when you reach 21, you're going to have to pass this. Now, you have until, so it's a mandatory course in school, you have until the age of 21 to pass this. So you can take it out of school also. You can do the course out of school and you can pass it. And every single Bahamian, when you reach the age of 21, adulthood, real adulthood, you become a millionaire. We can do this for our children. We can do this for our future generations. We can do this for our now generation. In addition to having to pass this course, every young person must graduate from school with a bachelor's degree. Your education will be free. But we want an educated Bahamas. You must go to school, which will be free, up to PhD. Anywhere you want to go to school in the world, it will be free, up to a PhD. But you must graduate with at least a bachelor's degree. So that when you become 21, you graduate at 17, you got your 4 years to get your bachelor's degree. So you have to pass those courses, the school course level courses, and you must get your bachelor's degree. All right, and once you get that, you qualify to get your $1 million. We want an educated Bahamas. We want the next Bahamas. Barbados invested in education. They made education free for their people. And now you see what is happening. Our banks are going there because it's so easy to find educated persons in Barbados, so it's easy to hire people. I opened business in Barbados when I was young, in my early 20s. I opened a business in Barbados, and everyone was educated. Everyone had degrees. It was hard to choose because everyone was so educated, because that is what they did. Ireland did the same thing. Now companies like Google and all these other companies are moving there because they can find educated people easily. Now the same thing will happen here, because we have a race of educated people, and now we have a group of people that will be able to not only have the wealth, but be educated to use the wealth. This can be done. Special consideration will be made in the form of trusts and trusts that can be done on their behalf for children with learning disabilities. And so once a doctor declares that they have a learning disabilities, they will not have to pass this criteria, but no one will be able to take advantage of their money. We will put their money in a trust for them. All right, so that they are able to still have these benefits even though they have a learning disability. So the fund is for 100,000 children, and it's 20,000 we're going to put in a year, so that 20,000 in 21 years is $420,000. But the fund will actually make $1.4 million. It will make more than the $1 million that we're giving them. So it's going to cause a surplus. And so when that child is finished and when they reach the maturity, that fund is actually going to have an extra $400,000 roughly. And so we're going to take that and put that back in the pot. And so it helps to get the other children there quicker. And so this fund alone, upon the maturity of this 100,000 people, is going to generate another $40 billion of trade alone that goes back into the Sovereign Wealth Fund and pays for our future generation. This is the fund just for our kids, just for our children's future. Money is not scarce, vision is. It's time for us to think about the future and to think about the now. The number 9 benefit that you're going to get, we're paying for your funerals. This is already done. These other countries that are doing it with their natural resources, you don't pay for funerals. We will cover your funeral. And so you don't have to worry about, having to wait a month to bury your loved one because you don't have the money. Those days are over. And so we're going to give you up to $10,000 for a funeral. And we will reassess that. If funerals get more expensive and it's $15,000, then we'll pay $15,000 for a funeral. All of this is covered in the budget already. Number 10, Bahamian entrepreneurs will receive $5 million to start a business. This is not a loan, this is a grant. Bahamian entrepreneurs, if you have a business and a business plan, we will give you on top of that $5 million to start a business. This $5,000 thing that I see them doing, that is not reasonable. That's just to say that they're giving you something, but you're not able to compete with the real people who have the money. So it's just some milk money that they're giving you to say that they're doing something. They're saying, oh, we're going to give $50 million a year. And that's $5,000 a person. Like seriously? To open a business? Was that first, last, and security for the rent? No, we're going to help you open a real business. Why? Because the state is not going to cost us anything to do it, because we're going to get it back in taxes. That's why the government justifies giving money to the hotels. They give them concessions because as far as they're concerned, they're going to make it back in taxes. So do you know that they pay these hotels $8 million a year just for advertising costs? Just for advertisement? Those ads that you see of Atlantis on CNN, the government pays for that. $8 million a year. They're giving our money. They're giving benefits to foreigners instead of giving it to us. We have the money, and so because they gave it to one company, they have to give it to the other, so they have to give it to the Bahamas too. The benefits are there even right now. Even before we're benefiting from natural resources, but it's just not benefiting us. This can happen, y'all. It's time for the new Bahamas. I hope you're all ready for this. You gotta fight for this. You gotta fight with me on this. If you want this, I cannot do this alone. We cannot do this alone. Every Bahamian has to stand up. And so we're going to give $5 million to everyone who wants to start a business, and we're going to lease the land to you so you could be able to do this business. Yeah, I said lease the land to you. The land stays with the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Now, once you showed us that you were doing what you're supposed to do with this land, then at the end of the lease, which is most likely going to be 5 years, then we'll be able to turn the land over to you. We'll release it to you first, give you the money to do your business, so you don't have to go to the bank to get a loan, and we will give you the land after the end of the lease once you've shown that you've done what you've promised to do. All right, the next benefit that you have is that we're going to be building smart communities. You're going to hear a little bit about this in a minute, and every single Bahamian will be paid $2,000 per month just for living in these smart homes. We're going to explain that to you in a minute. So just for living in these homes, just for living there, instead of you paying a rent, you're going to be paid to live in these homes. This is happening around the world right now. Similar stuff in Dubai. They have what they call a green city. You're looking at it right now, where they give you amenities just for living in these homes. You don't pay for certain things. They even give you money to buy an electric car. They give you money to buy an electric car. They give you these things. All right? There's a reason that they can do this. And so you're gonna understand this in a minute. So just wait for me and we're gonna show you. It's time for the new Bahamas.